Okay guys, welcome to Code with Tech. This is your number one coding hub where we simplify complex coding problem for beginners, intermediate and advanced. Okay, so guys, for today we are going to be looking at JavaScript numbers. All right, before going to today's lesson, please hit that subscription button, give the video a thumbs up, and please share the video. All right, now if you have any doubt, please feel free to comment it so that we can reply your comment. All right, so guys, without further ado, let's get into today's lesson. Okay, firstly, today we are going to be looking at numbers. Now in JavaScript, from the onset, we want to understand what is numbers in JavaScript. They are divided into types. All right, we have integers and we have decimal. All right, now let's take for instance, we say let a assign the value of 10. All right, now and then we say let b assign the value of 3.14. all right, 3.14. now the first value here, there's a decimal, and the first value here is an integer. There's an integer, and there's a decimal. All right, now we have understood the two different value. All right, this value at times people also refer to the value as our floating point number. All right, now so we're going to come down here quickly and see how best we can work on some things. So we say let x assign the value of 3.14159. all right, now if I come down here, the value here is too long. All right, although there's a floating point number or there's a decimal number, but the value is too long. Now how can I reduce the value? All right, I want to use a method that will help me reduce the value or fix the value to their two decimal places. Now if I say console.log and then I put x in it, and then I save it and console log and run this code. All right, now I'm going to get this headable in terms of value. All right, now I don't need it, I only need 3.14. all right, so what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to edit the console log shortly. I'm going to come here where we have x, I'm going to say toFixed. all right, then in this parenthesis, now in the method I'm going to pass 2 into the method. If I save it, that means toFixed, which is my decimal place, I'm only accepting 2 digits. all right, save this, rerun it. Now we are 3.14. If this was 1, we save it and run it, trust me, we'll get 3.1. all right, but we need 2 decimal places or 4 decimal places, so we'll keep it with 2 decimal places. all right, good. Now the next thing we want to do, we want to convert a number from an integer or decimal to a string. all right, how can that be possible? We'll say let num equal 100. all right, now if we come down here, we say console, we can take the identical console log from up here and bring it down here. all right, now in this console log, we just want to edit it quickly. Okay, I will say within the console log here, I can say num dot toString. all right, after invoking this, save it. Now if I print out this, our output will be this 100, but the 100 is no longer a number, rather it is a string. Okay, rather it is a string. Java is not going to remember or recognize this 100 here as a number. It's going to recognize it as a string. Okay, now we are converted to a string already. Now the next thing we want to do, we want to paste in. all right, we want to paste in. Now we'll come down, we say let, we have created a string and telling this string here to be 42. All right, and then for the console log, we also want to make some changes here. We want to say str. For this video, I don't want to write too many console log. All right, now in this console log, I'm going to say parseInt, and in here I'm going to say str. All right, we save it. Now after saving this, if I run this code, we have the same 42. all right, now the next case we want to check on, we want to paste floating point number, converting them to our string. All right, we want to paste floating point number. Now for this, we were converting this integer number here to, we are converting string to integers. All right, for here, this we're converting our string to integer. All right, this is converting string to integers. All right, and the next area we want to do, we want to convert our floating point to a string. Okay, let's try converting a string to a floating point. All right, string to floating point. Okay, string to floating point. Now we'll say let, so we'll use the same string here. All right, so to do it to floating point, we'll say console, console.log, and in here I can say float. All right, good. Now I've converted it to a floating point, and trust me, this will be well seen and taken into consideration. Okay, now we have 42 where we converted it to an integer, and here we have 42.9. all right, now the next thing we want to do here, we want to convert anything to a number. Now how can we convert anything to a number? Okay, how can we convert anything to a number? Okay, now I will get rid of the two console log quickly. All right, I want to convert anything to a number. The first thing we'll say, I'm going to write this 3 times because I'm going to work with 3 console log for now. Good. I'm going to write with 3 console log, so I'm going to say number, and then in the number here I'm going to call this function 10. Good. In here I can change this to a boolean value, false, and in here I can change it to a boolean value, true. Okay, and save this. Good. Now if I run this console log, we have 1, 10, and 0. Okay, now we say from the onset that our boolean value represent 1 or 0 or yes or no. Okay, and now when we check the converting our boolean value to a number, we realize that where true is, it turns to 1, and where false is, it turns to 0. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, we want to check if our value is a number. Okay, we want to check if a value is a number in this case. So for here, we're going to say console.log parenthesis, we say number dot is, okay, and then here we will say 10. If we save this and then I run the code, come down here, we have true here, right? The reason we have true here is because the value in here is what? Number. All right, but if we turn this to a string and write the same thing and we run the code, we'll have false this time around. We'll have false here. Okay, we have false here. Now, so guys, we are understanding math gradually. Okay, We are understanding math. Okay, so guys, we're going to try another thing. Okay, we're going to try another thing while working with this number. We're going to try another thing quickly. All right, the next thing we want to try this. It's almost like a project idea, but it's not holistically a project idea. All right, we will work with a random number a bit and see how it's going to be like. All right, we're going to work with some random number a bit and see how it's going to be like. All right, we'll say let p assign the value of alright. Now we're going to use console.log, and then we say map the round. Okay, and in the map the round here, we're going to, I don't want to pass anything to it. I'm just going to pass p to it and then save it and rerun the code. Now it ran this entire value to 4. Okay, it ran the entire value to 4. All right, now we can round value up here, we can round down, we can check lots of different things. Okay, so for here what we have, there's the round. Here I'm just going to turn it to a float. All right, to a floor. All right, now if I turn this to a floor and then we rerun the code, we're still going to get 4. All right, now if I turn this here to Sailor, we're going to get something else. All right, now for here we get 5. Okay, that means I round the number up. All right, if I turn this, now these are just different methods. All right, that I'm calling. These are them different methods that I'm calling. Okay, if you want to practice, then trust me, you can follow up, or you just ask me. I will send you the, or just comment it that you want to practice it. I will send you the entire listing for all of these methods. All right, now lastly, we want to do something that is closer to a project but not a project. Okay, now we're going to work with a random number something. All right, so we're going to say math the round, or instead of using round, we'll say floor parenthesis map the round. Okay, now the next thing on this round here, we're going to make it as a function. All right, and then in the same round, I'm going to say plus 100. All right, and then outside of the round, let me carry the code break it, raise it back. All right, outside of it, I'm going to say plus 1. All right, and close this. Now we say console to log. Now the next thing we're going to say random number. All right, after saying random number, we can come here and say command and say random. We come here and say random. Okay, now our code just broke. All right, our code just broke. The reason for which it got broken, we need to find it out. All right, the reason for which our code got broken. Now our problem here is this place where we have round. this should have been small letter instead of capital letter. Okay, good. Now we rerun the code. We come down here and check. Now we see random number none. Okay, we can rerun the code again and see. So the random number here again, it come again and say number. Let me push this out, bring this right back, save it, rerun the code. So we are getting random numbers from our work. Okay, these are numbers that we did not plot for results, but rather we are asking the computer to just do its own thing and give a result. All right, so guys, this is one simple way or concept that I usually use when I'm creating the background changing app. All right, I think most of you guys have seen it. All right, so guys, thank you very much for sticking around. This is just a short video showing how numbers can be worked with in JavaScript, and I hope that you learned something. Guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Please guys, subscribe. Please subscribe.